Chapter 485. Either, do you really intend to go through with it? We are talking about the Imperial Palace of all places. Could this be one of your usual jests? Even if it's under the commander's orders, the situation here is different than in the West. Either found himself trapped among the swarm of members who rushed to him as soon as Kishir had left. Although they spoke in hushed voices, the atmosphere was far from quiet, with each one chiming in their concerns accumulated like a burgeoning cloud. The members should have been rejoicing at the news of a party, yet their faces betrayed no joy. Either watched them with a curious feeling, their faces worried and their chatter passionate. Although they didn't seem to be taking the news entirely seriously, their worried expressions were genuine. Either, if you couldn't refuse because it was hard to say no, we will go with you. No, I was not coerced into agreeing. Before the atmosphere could take a turn toward suspicion that Yudhir had been pressured into his decision, he spoke up to stop any hasty conjectures. Do you think the commander would force me into this as some sort of a joke? ... I accepted the offer, and that's that. There's no official problem since they said the standards are being changed. It's just a dance after all. But that's not the issue. The problem is the gossip and ridicule that you'll have to endure. Sure, Commander Kishir is an Alpha Awakener and you have emerged as an Omega. But even so, can you really do this? Like in the West, we don't know what kind of people might show up. Oh, stop bringing that up. Either was taken aback by the stronger than expected backlash. He had thought that by this point, out of consideration for Kishir, if nothing else, they would back off. He was wrong. The answer lay in a facet he had not deeply considered. During their time in Tennu, while their fake romance drama unfolded, those in the cavalry who had been dealing with maintaining security had grown wary of the malicious rumors and insults. Rumors and insults always circulated more when the subjects weren't around to defend themselves. Even if they knew the truth was different, it was deeply unpleasant for them to see one of their own representative figures at that being treated in such a manner. When faced with a situation that might bring back memories of those unpleasant times, their reaction was reflexive. When a group senses an external threat, it tends to grow tighter. The cavalry members who had just completed a challenging mission in the West had long since become a tight-knit family. Issues like the nuanced differences between the first gender and second gender and the reason Kishir had specifically chosen Yudhir were secondary compared to the potential dishonor that Yudhir might suffer. This was yet another strange shift brought about by their fake romance. As the voices of the excited members began to grow louder, Yudhir's gaze met with familiar faces in the crowd. There was Ever, who had not entirely concealed her awkward expression, the elder siblings, who were openly intrigued, worried, Jimmy, even more worried-looking Akane, and Kana, who looked unsure beside him. The moment their eyes met, Kana clenched her fist and suddenly stepped forward. Hold on, everyone, just calm down. It was exceedingly rare for Kana Wand, the Jung Division deputy commander, who was normally on good terms with everyone, to take the lead like this. As the surprised crowd fell silent, Kana spoke with an expression that seemed so tense it almost felt composed. Let's all just take a breath here. So, to summarize, the commander has decided to change the criteria for the dance partners in this upcoming party. There is nothing we can do about it. It's already been decided. Yudhir has also accepted this. ... And Yudhir, are you really okay with this? As she spoke, the look she gave Yudhir was almost too cautious. Was it his imagination? Yudhir simply nodded. Yeah, I'm fine. No, but still. I haven't finished speaking. Kana raised her hand. interrupting another member mid-sentence. I have never really thought deeply about this, but when I do think about it, isn't it really a party for awakeners? I mean, considering the awakeners with second gender. Dot dot dot. The commander may be playful, but he has never done anything harmful to us. I believe it will be the same this time. So, Yuzir must have accepted it because. What I want to say is, if you want to help Yuzir, rather than trying to overturn a settled decision, we should participate as the commander suggested. It was Ever who spoke, taking over for Kana, whose ears and cheeks were gradually turning red. Exactly, that's what I mean. If only one pair participates in this new way, it would naturally look odd, but if several do, it would be much better. The cavalry members looked at each other's faces. Is that so? At first, it seemed strange, but hearing it now, it makes sense. The commander said he was changing the criteria, not that he would be the only one participating in this manner. Right. If Yuzir can do it, so do we. We are all part of the same cavalry. The same cavalry. That invincible phrase ignited a fire in all of their hearts in an instant. Fine, since it's decided, let's all get criticized together. We have slain monsters. What's there to be scared of? If I was afraid of criticism, I wouldn't have come here to take the entrance test. After hearing that, I would have to sever ties with my hometown. Anyone who has manifested second gender here, raise your hands. Hey, isn't this going back to historic? Watching the group that had suddenly become passionate, Yuzir remained silent. He had hoped things would move in this direction, but he never expected it to happen this way. Yet, the zealous voices saying they would take criticism so that Yuzir wouldn't have to face it alone didn't sound bad to him, probably because he was already a part of this cavalry. It was a strangely unfamiliar feeling. He turned his head and mouthed a silent thank you to Kana. Seeing this, Kana, whose face was still slightly flushed, vigorously shook her head. He would have preferred a private conversation, but once again she moved away from Yuzir with an awkward gesture. Does she have some kind of issue with me? I should ask her why she's acting like this. Yuzir turned back to the enthusiastic members and spoke. Everyone, one moment. If we are doing exchanging opinions about the party preparations, there is something I would like to say before we move on. What? What is it? Are you touched by our loyalty? The members grinned awkwardly, anticipating thanks from the mouth of the commander's ever-silent assistant. However, what came from Yuzir's lips was entirely different. I have been thinking during the break, and starting today, I want to change the types and intensity of our training. I have already received the commander's permission. The new schedule is right here, and I'll put it up now. Without hesitation, Yuzir unfolded the neatly folded paper he had taken from inside his uniform and affixed it to the wall where the previous training schedule had been. The new training schedule was already much more densely packed than the previous one, which had hardly any empty spaces to begin with. It also included several new training exercises they had never done before. The color drained from the faces of the members as they read it. Wait, Yuzir, did you forget that today is the first day back from the vacation? What is this? I appreciate the separate time for dance practice, but magic and magic tools response training? Magic bomb disposal? Why are we training this stuff? Anyone who went on the recent mission to the Great Serene Forest would understand the need of such training without it needing to be said. At the calm response, a few members timidly nodded their heads. If anyone thinks this training is unnecessary, try beating me first. If you can, I will acknowledge it and remove it. As if that would ever be possible! Indignant voices filled the training ground. Their lips twitched upward ever so slightly as he walked past them. Do you think all the members are convinced? Yes, Kana's help was instrumental. Good. Upon entering the commander's office, Yudhir faced Kishir, who was in his commander uniform after a long time. Next to him was Nathan Zuckerman, who had returned after his vacation. Then, shall we get started on our agenda? Are you ready? Nathan, pick up the violin.